Okay, so today we have another Spanish lesson where we'll be discussing the use of the word aunque, which changes meanings based on the situation it's used in. So we'll be explaining how to use aunque followed by the subjunctive and followed by the indicative, and how this word will change its meaning in either case. So first we'll go through this dialogue line by line and explain all the grammatical constructions that are mentioned in this dialogue. So the first sentence, ¿Ya terminaste tu ensayo? So this means, did you finish your essay yet? So this scene is kind of describing a dialogue between two students, two friends. So, did you finish your essay yet? ¿Ya terminaste? Terminaste is the verb terminar, which means to finish. Preterite. Ensayo is essay. And here we have an interesting use of the word ya. Ya is kind of a confusing word because it can have many different translations. It can mean already, it can mean now. In this case, it means more yet. So did you finish your essay yet? ¿Ya terminaste tu ensayo? The ya can also go at the end of the sentence. You can also say terminaste tu ensayo ya? So that has the meaning, did you finish your essay yet?
The next sentence, student says, ¿Qué ensayo? Nadie me dijo que escribiera un ensayo. So this means, what essay? No one told me that I had to write an essay. So here, the thing to note is the use of the subjunctive after decir que, because in a previous video, every time decir que is used, the verb after must be in subjunctive. So here, escribir is conjugated in the subjunctive, in the imperfect subjunctive, escribiera.
Right, so that sentence means, no one told me to write an essay, right? So nadie me dijo que escribiera un ensayo. And notice that both decir and escribir are in a past tense, either past indicative or past subjunctive. So then the next line, lo habrías sabido si hubieras estado prestando atención en clase ayer. So this means, you would have known about it if you had been paying attention in class yesterday. So here we have a few complex grammatical constructions. Lo habrías sabido, that means you would have known it, or you would have known about it. So habrías is the conditional perfect conjugation of the verb haber. It just means would have. So lo habrías sabido is you would have known it, or you would have known about it. And then we have, this is actually a C clause, because we're saying you would have known about it if, so then the if is followed by, or has to be followed by a subjunctive. So we're saying you would have known about it if you had been paying attention. So if you had, that had, which is the auxiliary verb, haber, is in the imperfect subjunctive. So lo habrías sabido si hubieras estado prestando atención. If you had been paying attention. To pay attention is prestar atención, or you can also say poner atención. So we could have equally said si hubieras estado poniendo atención. Either is correct. En clase ayer, in class yesterday. So lo habrías sabido, you would have known about it, si hubieras estado prestando atención, if you had been paying attention en clase ayer, in class yesterday.
Alright, so the next line, student B replies, Aunque lo hubiera sabido, no lo habría hecho. So this means, even if I had known about it, I would not have done it. So the thing to realize here is that aunque, when coupled with a subjunctive verb, takes on the meaning even if. So even if I had known about it, again we have the subjunctive because you have a condition of uncertainty. Even if I had known about it, or even if I had known it, then you follow I would not have done it. So that would be a conditional perfect. I would not have done it. So aunque lo hubiera sabido, even if I had known about it, no lo habría hecho. I would not have done it.
Alright, now we have a kind of a scene change. So the student, the slacker, the kid who didn't write his essay, he's in class and he's talking to the professor or the teacher. So the teacher says, "Me entregan sus ensayos." So this means hand in your essays, or literally hand in your essays to me. So this sentence is a command, but we purposely did not use the traditional imperative tense, which would be "Entréguenme sus ensayos." That's the traditional way of saying the command "hand in to me." By the way, this comes from the verb entregar, which means to hand in. Because we wanted to show that there's another way of expressing the command tense, the imperative, which is by simply using the present tense. So we just use the present tense here, which is "me entregan," right? So the traditional imperative would be "Entréguenme," because the indirect object pronoun would go at the end of the command. But here we're just showing that the present tense can also be used to express a command. So "me entregan sus ensayos, por favor," like hand in your essays.
Okay, and so the next line, the slacker student responds, "Lo siento, pero no lo he hecho." So I'm sorry, but I have not done it. So lo siento is I'm sorry, and pero is but, and then I have not done it. No lo he hecho. So no is I have not, and he hecho, have done, and lo is it. So lo siento, pero no lo he hecho. I'm sorry, but I have not done it.
So now this last sentence, has a lot of interesting things going on. Sentences, "Aunque me gustas, tengo que darte un cero por no haberlo hecho." And translates to, "Even though I like you, I have to give you a 0 for not having done it." So the first part of the sentence, "Aunque me gustas." So before we saw how "aunque" means even if, when followed by a subjunctive, "aunque lo hubiera sabido," even if I had known about it. But here we see how "aunque" means even though or although when used with indicative. Note that gustas is the second person conjugation indicative of the word gustar. So this is saying, even though I like you. Now, remember that gustar means to please and not to like. So this sentence literally translates to, even though you please me. So this is a very common area of confusion for Spanish students, because they may not be sure how to say, I like you, you like me, we like them, because in Spanish you don't translate that using a verb to like. You use it using the verb to please. So you have to translate that. If you want to say I like you, you have to say you please me. So that's why we say "Aunque me gustas," even though you please me. So "aunque" means even though. So "Aunque me gustas," even though I like you. "Tengo que darte un cero," I have to give you a 0. "Por no haberlo hecho," this means for not having done it. So por means for, not having done it. So having is haber, the verb to have. That's the verb that's conjugated when you use tenses like the present perfect. I have done it, lo he hecho. It comes from the verb haber. So having done it is haberlo hecho. The lo goes at the end of the infinitive haber. So having done it is haberlo hecho. Hecho means done. So for not having done it is por no haberlo hecho. So word by word, it's literally for no having it done. Right? So literally that means for not having done it. So "Aunque me gustas, tengo que darte un cero por no haberlo hecho." Even though I like you, I have to give you a 0 for not having done it. So this is a very good dialogue with lots of different grammatical concepts in it, and I hope you understand now the different ways to use "aunque," how to make it mean even though or although, and even if when it's before subjunctive, and even though when it's before indicative. So now we'll read the dialogue at a slow speed and then at a faster speed. ¿Ya terminaste tu ensayo?
¿Qué ensayo? Nadie me dijo que escribiera un ensayo.
Lo habrías sabido si hubieras estado prestando atención en clase ayer.
Aunque lo hubiera sabido, no lo habría hecho.
Y ahora en clase. Me entregan sus ensayos.
Lo siento, pero no lo he hecho.
Aunque me gustas, tengo que darte un 0 por no haberlo hecho. And now, at a faster speed. ¿Ya terminaste tu ensayo?
¿Qué ensayo? Nadie me dijo que escribiera un ensayo.
Lo habrías sabido si hubieras estado prestando atención en clase ayer.
Aunque lo hubiera sabido, no lo habría hecho.
Y en clase. Me entregan sus ensayos.
Lo siento, pero no lo he hecho.
Aunque me gustas, tengo que darte un 0 por no haberlo hecho.